ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। नारायणं पद्मभुवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यम् श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तावलकं च शिष्यं तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यान् अस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतो वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। द्वितीयमुण्डकः द्वितीयकण्डः द्वितीयमन्त्रः। यदर्चिमत्
यदर्चिमत्
यदनुद्योनु च यस्मिन् लोकानिगिता लोकिनश्च
यस्मिन्
तदेतत् एतत् अक्षरं ब्रह्म स प्राणः द्वाङ्मनः तदेतत् सत्यं तदमृतम् तद्वेद्धव्यं सौम्य विद्धि। तत् एतत् यत् त्वया पृच्यते कस्मिन् भगो विज्ञाते सर्वमिदं विज्ञातं भवति इति तत् एतत् अक्षरं ब्रह्म सः प्राणः तद् वाङ्मनः तत् एतत् सत्यं तत् अमृतं तत् Vedavyam. Tat Vedavyam. That should be known. This mantra we have seen in the Bhashyam. Now, that Brahma Vedavyam. Amritam, Aksharam, that Brahma Vedavyam. How to know that Brahma? That is being said in the next mantra. It's a beautiful mantra. The next mantra, third mantra, as well as the fourth mantra. These two mantras to be read together. These two mantras combinedly give the drishtanta of archery. Like we have Ratakalpana in Kathopanishad. Atmanam Rathiram Viddhi. Similarly here, as Ratakalpana is famous in Kathopanishad, similarly Mundaka Upanishad, this drishtanta of this Dhanuhu Sharaha is very famous. This is a Mahavakya mantra, in fact, where Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam is revealed. The Pramata, we saw in Vedanta Sara, Adhikari Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampannaha Pramata, the Pramartha, the knower, the Prameya, that is to be known. So Pramata, he wants to know what? The Prameya. The Pramata is Jivatma. And what is Prameya? This Prameya is this Brahma, Paramatma. The Pramata, the knower, wants to know the Prameya, the Paramatma. Katham iti uchyate asmin mantre. Katham, how to know? Upanishad dwara eva. Upanishada eva jnatum shakyate. Without Upanishad, how can the Pramata know the Prameya? Upanishad, Shastram being the Pramanam, Upanishad being the Pramanam, through Upanishad alone, the Pramata can know the Prameya Vishya, which is Brahma. So the Pramanam being the Upanishad, and the Pramata being Jivatma, the Prameya being Paramatma. So three things are there. Now the three things compare with the bow and the arrow. The bow is comparable to Shastram, Upanishad. Yeah, the mantra says it is compared to Omkara. Omkara is Upanishad. We will see how it is Upanishad. O is the Upanishad. And the arrow, which is set in the bow to be shot, to be thrown, to be shot at the target. The arrow is comparable to the Jivatma. And the target, which is to be hit, is the Paramatma. So, therefore, the arrow is the Paramatma, the Jivatma, and the arrow hitting the target, that is a Prameya, that is Paramatma. So, Jivatma, Paramatma. And the means by which Jivatma hits the Paramatma is the bow, which is the Upanishad, Pramanam. So, through this archery example, the Aikyam, Jivatma, Paramatma, Aikyam is beautifully presented in these two mantra, third mantra and the following mantra. The Upanishad compares the, as I told, compares the bow to the Omkara, not to the Upanishad directly, to Omkara. Through Omkara, we can connect to Upanishad. Omkara, as we saw in Kathopanishad. In fact, Kathopanishad, Yamadharmaraja, he begins the teaching with Omkara. Sarve Veda Gitpadamamananti तपाहंसि सर्वाणि च यद्वदन्ति यदिच्छन्तो ब्रह्मचर्यं चरन्ति तत्ते पदं संग्रहेण ब्रवीमि ओम इत्येतत् इति in the first adhyaya, second value of the Katha Upanishad, from where the teaching starts, beginning with Omkara. Where Omkara, which is talked about, it can be a Shabda Pratika. It's a sound symbol. For Upasakas, it is a sound symbol for Upasana. So Omkara Upasana is nothing but Saguna Brahma Upasana that can take a sadhaka, the Upasaka, to Brahmaloka. From Brahmaloka, he gets moksha, that is called Krama Mukti. So, Omkara Upasanaya Brahmaloka Praptihi Brahmalokam Gatva Tatra Brahmaji, Chaturmukha Brahmaji Mukattena Jnanam Prapya Muktaha Bhavati Tadeva Krama Muktihi iti Nyayate, Krama Muktihi. That is through Upasana. Upasakas do Omkara Upasana. But the Vedantins, not Upasakas, not Karmatas, those who are committed to knowing, committed to knowledge, committed to the study of the Shastra, those who want, or in other ways, those who don't want to postpone the Mukti, going to Brahmaloka, being with Brahma till the end of the Pralaya, this Kalpa, staying with him, and then getting moksha. Instead, here and now only I want moksha. So those who have got Tivra Mumukshutvam, for them, the same Omkara can be, instead of making it a pratika for upasana, it can be taken for vichara, Omkara vichara. Omkara vichara dvara, vicharena, through Omkara vichara, that is what it is done in Mundaka Upanishad. So Omkara vichara. Omkara vichara is Shastra vichara. Shastra vichara is Jiva Swarupa vichara, Ishvara Swarupa vichara. And Jiva is not separate from Paramatma. Jivatma not separate from Paramatma. Therefore, it is Aikya. Vicharena Aikya Jnana Praptihi. That is moksha. So Omkara vichara leads to moksha. Here and now. That is called Sadhya Mukti. So for Upasakas, it is Upasana Vishaya. Whereas for Jnanis, Jnanis means those who want to know, those who want to gain Jnanam and therefore becoming free from samsara. For them, the same Omkara becomes a subject matter for inquiry, Vichara Vishaya. Omkara Vichara is Tattva Vichara, Shastra Vichara eva. So Omkara is, in fact, Omkara, the sannyasi, they take this mantra only, Omkara mantra. The whole Gayatri is reduced into Omkara. As Brahmachari, he chants Gayatri mantra. It has got 4 parts. Om, Bhur, Bhuvasvaha, Vyakruti, Tatsavitarvarenyam, Bhargo Devasya Dhimiki, Dhiyo Yonav Prachodayat. It can be divided into 4 parts. All these 4, chanting, they give pause. The 4 parts and therefore 5 parts becomes. This, the mantra can be divided into 3. That is Om Bhur Bhuvasvaha, 1 part. Tatsavitarvarenyam, Bhargo Devasya Dhimiki. Second part, Dhiyo Yonav Prachodayat. Third part. All these 3 are included in the Omkara. So as Brahmachari, he chants Gayatri mantra. When sannyasa is taken, that Gayatri mantra also is given, and that Gayatri mantra is condensed into this Omkara in the form of this Omkara mantra. Therefore, the Omkara Vichara, either Omkara Upasana or Omkara Vichara. Upasakas do Omkara Upasana. Whereas Jnanis, they do Omkara Vichara. Omkara is Shastram. So, therefore, this Omkara, which is the Tatparyam of the Shastra, which is the condensed subject matter of the Shastram, the Upanishads, into what this Gayatri Mantra finally is reduced into, that Omkara, that becomes the Pramanam, that becomes the bow for the Jivatma arrow to hit the Paramatma target. Therefore, the essence of the Shastram is this Om, and therefore sannyasis are supposed to chant Om. Chanting of Omkara gives Vairagyam also. That is Avantara Palam. But as sannyasi, as jnani, they are supposed to do vichara on this Omkara. So that Omkara, therefore, Omkara represents Shastram, represents Upanishad, and that is compared to the bow. So this is the example. So this Drishtanta is, the emphasis of the Drishtanta is, Shastram is the Pramanam which the Jivatma has to operate to hit the target, to arrive at the target, Paramatma. Here there are some certain things to be noted very clearly. This example should be looked upon as only example. This should not be extended beyond the limit. Any example, any Drishtanta in Vedanta should not be extended, because there is no parallel example for Brahma. If we can give an example for Brahma, then that will become second Brahma. So that will limit the first one. Brahma is what the ultimate is, total is. How can the total have another parallel example? No example possible. Therefore, any Drishtanta we give should not be extended beyond the scope. What are the limitations in this example? If you see that the bow is which is a pramanam, and Jivatma is the arrow. Where is Paramatma? Paramatma is, that is, in the Drishtanta, the target is located at a distance, some distance. Arrow is with the bow. Arrow is with the bow. The arrow is loaded onto the bow, and it is going to hit the target, and the target is at some distance far away. So, therefore, distance is a space-wise distance. But if the distance is real, in the Dashtanta, in the Dashtanta, that is in the Jivatma, which is compared to the arrow, the Jivatma, is it separate from Paramatma? Is it located at some distance? Is it space-wise divided from Paramatma? Is Jivatma has to travel to reach the Paramatma? Is traveling is involved? No. Jivatma is one with Paramatma always. That is why it is a matter for knowing. It is not the matter for doing. If Jivatma is really away from Paramatma, then Jivatma has to travel in space, travel through time to reach Paramatma. That becomes Dvaitam. Then Dvaitam becomes Satyam, and therefore this Jivatma, which is separate from Paramatma, it has become separated somehow. It has to reach the Paramatma. Now, having reached Paramatma, it becomes one. Now the question comes, it becomes one now, but how did it become separate from Paramatma? If it had become a separate one from Paramatma, then after becoming one with Paramatma, again it can become separate. Again it can be isolated. Again it can become different from Paramatma. Because what is done by karma, the same thing can be undone by karma. karma being limited, parichinnam, the palam also become parichinnam. Therefore, the Jivatma being with Paramatma, one with Paramatma, that oneness achieved through karma, after some time, again, separation is possible. So therefore it is there is no distance between Jivatma and Paramatma. If distance is there, karma is required. Distance being not there, therefore knowledge is required. Because it is already prapta vishaya. It is not apraptam. Apraptam chet kartavyam. Praptam chet jnatavyam. It is prapta vishaya, but it is already accomplished one. Because of ajnanam, it is not known. Therefore, there is no karma involved, there is only jnanam. And in the drishtanta, the distance is there. So that distance should not be literally taken as the distance, the space-wise limitation between Paramatma and Jivatma. That should not be taken. That is one drawback is there. And the arrow hitting the target then becomes one. But in the Dashtanta, Jivatma is always one with Paramatma. It cannot be away from Paramatma. Always Aikyam is a truth, it's a Satyam. Jivatma here wants to discover the Aikyam which is already there. Because it is not known, therefore only samsara. Therefore wants to discover the Aikyam, discovering which it becomes free from the notion of being in samsara. Samsara is a notional one. It is not a real one. If it is real, then karma is required. It is not real. Because it is unreal, it is mithya, therefore only jnanam. So therefore, the distance between Jivatma and Paramatma, it's being notional, therefore no karma required. Therefore, no distance is there, no karma required. And the notional distance can be removed only by jnanam, for which the Upanishad is a pramanam. So this is with the limitations, we have to understand the drishtanta. And while explaining the Jivatma, the arrow, the Upanishad also tells, and Bhashyakara also will tell, that arrow has to be very sharp. It has to be placed properly in the bow. It has to be properly loaded onto the bow so that it's a target without fail. The arrow must be straight. It must be very sharp so that it pierces the target. Why the arrow should be straight? Only when it is straight, it can hit the target. So arrow is Jivatma. Therefore, Jivatma has to be straight. What is straight means? Straight means it refers to the values which the Jivatma must have. Amanittam, Adambittam, Ahimsa, Kshanti, Rajam. Those are the values. In other words, the Jivatma must be Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampannaha Adhikari, must be endowed with Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. Therefore, Jivatma would have done some homework. Jivatma here it is Mumukshu. The Mumukshu would have done some homework, would have done Karma Yoga, got Antakarana Shuddhi, Nirmala Swantaha, should I be saw? Nirmala Swantaha, Nirgata Nirmala Swantaha. Nirgata is Antakarana. Swantaha, Antakaranam is pure. That is achieved through Karma Yoga. And Upasanaya Chitta Naishchalyam. So those homework had been done by the Mumukshu, and that is compared to the sharpness of the arrow. The arrow should not be bent, it has to be straight. Sharpening, that is focus, is required, that is achieved by Upasana. So the preparation is done for Chitta Shuddhi Karma Yoga and for Chitta Naishchalyam Upasana. The sharpness of the arrow is, the Jivatma arrow is achieved through Upasana. And the arrow is straight, that is the values, structure, the values what the Mukshu must have, that is gained through Karma Yoga. In other words, Raga Dvesha neutralization. Raga Dvesha Nivrutti. Raga Dvesha is there, then the arrow will not hit the target. The arrow will not be set straight because of your Raga Dvesha. The urge for Raga and as well as for Dvesha you won't be able to load the arrow properly. Therefore, karma yoga. So these are the preparatory means. With this, the arrow, if it is set on the Upanishad bow, the Jivatma arrow set on the Upanishad bow, it has to hit the target. Tat Vedhavyam. It should be struck. Vedhavyam. That will hit the target. This is the meaning of both the mantra, third and the fourth mantra with the Drishtanta bow archery example. With this background, now we will read the mantra. Katham vedhavyam iti uchyate.
Katham vedhavyam iti uchyate.
Katham vedhavyam. What? That Brahma that has been talked about in the previous mantra. Etat, tat etat aksharam, tat amrutam, tat kim, tat Brahma. Brahma katham vedhavyam. That Brahma, how it should be known or how it should be struck, should be hit. Because vedhavyam, vedadatu, if you take it is pierce, hitting. Vidadatu, if you take, should be known. So katham vedhavyam, how should be struck, should be hit, how it should be known. Why hit? The meaning we take, because here the drishtanta is bow arrow drishtanta. Therefore, how the target, that Brahma, amritam Brahma, should be hit. Iti uchyate. That is being said in the mantra. Dhanurgritaupanishadam mahastram.
धनुर्गृहीत्वा उपनिषदं महास्त्रम्
Sharam hyupasa nishitam dhayita.
शरं उपासनिशितं सन्धयीत
Ayam yatadbhavagatena chetasa.
आयं यतद्भावगतेन चेतसा
Lakshyam tadeva somya vidhi.
लक्ष्यं तदेवाक्षरं
Vidhi.
Somya, that's an address. Addressing the, yeah. Upanishad addresses Somya, oh beautiful one, oh pleasant one. Our Upanishad only glorifies the seeker, glorifies the students, praise the students, glorifies the Jivatma. Our Upanishad never condemns the people, never call them sinners, oh sinners. No, no sinning, no sinning, no sinning, the sinner business here. Hey, Somya. That's the truth. So addressing the students, the truth being that, addressing that, Somya. It has to be Somya. What else could be? Because the student who is Jivatma is one with Paramatma. So Guru is Paramatma, Jiva is also one Paramatma. Therefore, everywhere that is only Aikyam. The Guru sees himself everywhere. Therefore, he has to call the student Somya Vidhi. Hey Somya. What else he could say? So that's a beautiful way of addressing. Hey Somya Vidhi. So here, Dhanur Grihitva, Dhanuhu, Grihitva, Grakhdatu, Grihitva, Tva Pratyaya. Dhanuhu, Grihitva, Upanishadam, Mahastram. Sharam hi upasa nishitam, sandahita. So Dhanuhu Grihitva, having taken what? Dhanuhu. So Dhanuhu has to be Dvitiya Vibhakti. Grihitva, Tva Pratyaya is for which the karma must be Dhanuhu. So Dhanush Shabda, Dhanuhu Dhanushi, Dhanumshi. Dhanuhu Dhanushi, Dhanumshi. So Dhanuhu is Dvitiya Vibhakti Ekavachanam. It is Napumsakalinga, Dvitiya Vibhakti Ekavachanam. Karma for Grah Dhatu, Karana Kriya. Dhanuhu Grihitva. I have been taken the bow. And Sharam is the arrow. Sharam, the arrow, which is compared to Upanishadam, Mahastram, Sharam. Upanishadam, Upanishadsu Bhavaha Upanishadam, Tadita. word Upanishadam. That is that which is known through the Upanishad. Upanishadsu Bhavaha. That is which is there in the Upanishad, which is well known in the Upanishad. That is Upanishadam, Mahastram. It is Mahastram. It is a great Astra. Great Astra. Mahastram. Mahat Astram. Mahastram is Nabumsakalinga. Mahat cha Astram. Tat. Mahastram. Great Astram. Astra, Asdatu. Asmin to throw. Shastram and Astram. Astram means missile. That which can be thrown from the hand or from a tool, from an instrument. That is Astram. Shastram is that which you hold in your hand and fight, like sword, etc. Shastram, Astram. Shastram is different. Astram, Shastram, Shastram. So here, this Mahastram, Upanishadam Mahastram, that Mahastram here it is Upanishadam. Then Sharam. Sharam means arrow. Upanishadam Mahastram Sharam. So bow is there and the arrow is this Upanishadam, which is that is Mahastram compared to the great Astra, great Astram, great weapon. But here Sharam is the Upanishadam Mahastram. That is what it says here. But nowhere in the mantra that Mahastram, that is the Sharam, which is the Mahastram, which is Upanishad Subhavam, Pranavam iti, not told in the mantra. It is not here in this mantra. The Shara, the arrow is Upanishadam, Upanishad Subhavam. It is well known in the Upanishad what? That is not said in this mantra. It is said in the next mantra. Pranavo Dhanuhu. So therefore only we have to combine these two mantras. The next mantra, when we see, that time we will see Pranavo Dhanuhu. There it is given. What is that? Pranavo Dhanuhu Shadaha I Atma iti. So Sharam is the Jivatma and the Dhanuhu Grihitva, having taken the bow, the Sharam, which is Mahastram, Upanishadam, here, this Dhanuhu is Pranava. Upanishadam, Mahastram, these are adjective to Dhanu. In that, Shara is loaded. Okay. Sharam is the arrow that is compared to Jivatma. That comparison we will see later. So, Upanishadam, Mahastram, these are adjective to Dhanuhu, not Shara. So, Grihitva, what? Dhanuhu. And what Dhanuhu? It is Mahastram, it is Upanishadam. And Dhanu is the Pranava, comparable to Pranava that is given in the next mantra. So, in that Upanishadam Mahastram Dhanuhu, this Shara, the arrow, which how the arrow is? Arrow is Upasa Nishitam. Upasa means Upasana. Upasanaya Nishitam. Nishitam is, it is sharp. Tikshnam ityartaha. Tikshnam, it is sharp. The Sharam, the arrow, he Upasa Nishitam. Upasa Nishitam means it is sharpened by the arrow. So Upasa Nishitam Sharam, that is Sandagita, that is fixed. May you fix it. Sandagita. Sandagita is Ling Lakara. Thadatu, Dudhanj, Dharana Poshnayoho, Dudhanj Dhatu, Sandagita. Thadatu, Dudhanj is Ubhayapadi. The declension would be Dadya, Dadyatam, Dadyuhu. Dadyaha, Dadyatam, Dadyata. Dadyam, Dadyava, Dadyama. Some upasarga is there. This is Parasmapadi. Since it is Ubhayapadi, Atmani form is Dadita, Dadiyatam, Dadiran, Dadithaha, Dadiyatam, Dadidvam, Dadiya, Dadivaki, Dadimagi. But yes, Sandagita is there. Tadita is a form, but Sandagita is therefore it is Chandasam. It is Chandasam. It is Sandadita. Sandadita is equal to Sandadita. So it is Ling Lakara. May the arrow be fixed on to this Mahastram, the great weapon, which is Upanishad Subhavam, which is Danuhu. May the arrow which is Upasanaya Nishitam, sharpened by the arrow, sharpened by Upasana. Upasanaya Nishitam Tikshnam Tikshna Kritam, this Sharam, the arrow, it is placed in the Mahastram, which is comparable to Danuhu, and Danuhu is Pranavo Danuhu iti, the next mantra comes. So Danuhu, which is comparable to Pranava, and the Sharam is the Jivatma. The Jivatma has to be sharpened by the Upasana, and the sharpened arrow, Upasanaya Nishitam Sharam, Sandagita. May the Shara, the arrow, be fixed on the bow. So therefore, one has to take the bow and fix the arrow, and the arrow is Jivatma, which is sharpened by the Upasana. The Jiva Upadhi has to be sharp. It means it should be focused, it should be concentrated, and the arrow must be straight. That is free from Ragadvesha. That is gained through Karma Yoga. So now fixing the arrow onto the bow, then the bow has to be withdrawn to hit the target. So the bow has to go, the arrow has to go a little distance away from the bow so that it will gain momentum to hit the target. It cannot hit the target from its own place. It has to be withdrawn and then hit. Always the hitting will be the more force you will gain. You withdraw and come. Like in the cricket and all, they do bowling. They go at some distance, and from that they run, and by that they gain momentum, and therefore the velocity of the ball will be more. That's why they go all the way to pavilion. They go, and then from that they run and throw the ball. Similarly, here the Shara, which has to be withdrawn, the Shara which is compared to Jivatma is withdrawn. Withdrawn means withdraw the sense organs. It is Dhamma. Ayam is withdrawing. Withdrawing the string of the bow. Ayamya. Apurvaka yamdato leprataya. Ayamya. The string of the bow should be withdrawn. Having withdrawn the string of the bow, it is comparable to this body mind sense complex of the Jivatma. The Jivatma has to withdraw the sense organs. Tadbhava gatena chetasa means tadbhavam. Tadbhavam means tat referring to Brahma. So Brahmani bhavaha tadbhavaha. Tadbhava gatam. Brahma bhavagatam. Brahma vicharagatam. Tadbhavagatam is Brahma vicharagatam. What? Chetaha, the mind. The mind which is absorbed in the Brahma. Tadbhava is tat referring to Brahma. Therefore, tasmin Brahmani bhavaha tadbhavaha. Katena. Tadbhavam gataha. Tena tadbhava gatena. What? Chetasa. Cheta, the mind. Tadbhava gatena chetasa. Tadbhavam gatam chetaha. And that is the Tritiya Vibhakti. Tadbhava gatena. It is Visheshanam to Chetas. Chetaha. Chetas Sakaranta Shabda. Chetaha. It is mind. Manaha. So the mind, it is Tadbhava gatam. It is absorbed in Tat referring to Brahma. Brahma Bhava gatam. So Tadbhavam gataha. Tadbhava gataha. Tena. Tadbhava gatena. Chetasa. The mind which is absorbed, which is committed. Absorbed is which is committed in Brahma Vichara. Ayamya, having withdrawn the body mind sense complex, Indriyani, Yata Kurmongani Sarvashaha, Yata Kurmaha Tadvat, having withdrawn, then Lakshyam Tat Eva Aksharam Somya Vidhi. Tat that aksharam. So withdrawing from everything and focusing only on that Brahma, tad lakshyam vidhi. Tat eva aksharam lakshyam vidhi. Lakshyam, which is a target. The target is aksharam Brahma. Tadeva aksharam, that is lakshyam. Vidhi, may you eat. Hey Somya. So aksharam Brahma, which is aksharam. Tadeva aksharam, that is a lakshyam, that is a target. Hey Somya. Vidhi. Chetasa tadbhavagatena chetasa ayamya tadbhavagatena chetasa vidhi, with the arrow that has been fixed into the bow. So the arrow sharam, which is sharpened by upasana, upasa nishitam, therefore upasanaya nishitam, sharpened by upasana, therefore we can infer the arrow has to be jivatma only. Upasanaya nishitam is sharpened by upasana, therefore it has to be jivatma. So sharam is jivatma. And this Upanishad Mahastram is Danuhu. That is Danuhu. Danuhu is Upanishadam. And the next mantra Pranavaha is that. Therefore we can connect. Danuhu Pranavaha Bhavati. Sharaha Jivatma Bhavati. Lakshyam Aksharam Paramatma Bhavati. So therefore Tadbhavagatena Chetasa Vidhi. May the Jivatma hit the target Paramatma with the Mahastram, Upanishadam Mahastram, with the Upanishadam, with the Shastram, that is Danuhu, that is Pranavaha Ityartaha. Therefore, this is the meaning of this mantra. Now we will read the Bhashyam. Danuhu Ishvasanam.
Dhanuho Ishvasanam.
Danuhu is equal to Ishvasanam. Ishubhis Pratiyotsyami Pujarha Varisudana. Gita is of Ishu. Ishu is arrow. Sorry, Ishu is Ishubhihi. Ishu is arrow. Ishu is arrow. Sharaha is another word. The issue is also pulling the Ukaranta Shabda. Issue plus asanam ishvasanam. Yansanti. Asanam means seat. Where does the arrows sit? In the bow. Therefore, Ishoho asanam ishvasanam. The seat of the arrow is Danuhu. So Ishvasanam means Danuhu ityartaha. Ishu meaning arrow, Sharaha. Tasya asanam, Ishvasanam, Danuhu. So Danuhu is equal to Ishvasanam, the seat of the arrow. That Danuhu, Ishvasanam, Danuhu, Grihitva Adaya, Apurvaka Dada to Lep Pratyaya. Grihitva Tva Pratyaya. Bhashakara gives the Lep Pratyaya form. Grihitva Adaya, having taken. Adaya, Da is to give. Adaya, having taken. Adaya. And that is Danuhu is Upanishadam. Upanishadsu Bhavam Upanishadam. Tasya Bhavaha. Sutram is that Upanishadsu Bhavam Upanishadam. Adi Vriddhi happens. Upanishadam. Occurring. Well known. Upanishadsu Bhavam. That which is there in the Upanishads. Or which is revealed by the Upanishad. What is revealed by the Upanishad is this Pranavaha, the Omkaraha. Which is Prasiddham. Bhavam, which is Prasiddham. So Upanishadsu Bhavam, that is Prasiddham, that is well known in the Upanishad. Mahastram, the great weapon. Magatacha Tat Astram. Ashakara himself gives the Vigraha Vakya for Mahastram. It is Karmadaraya Samasa. Magat Cha Tat Astram. Astram is Napumsakalinga. Therefore, Magat, Mahan, Magat, Mahati, Mahanti, Napumsakalinga. Pullinga would be Mahan, Mahanto, Mahantaha. So Mahat Astram, Mahat Cha Tat Astram, that which is great, and that is the Astram, the missile. Sorry, not here it is talking about the Danu, not missile. Here it is talking about the bow, therefore Danuhu. Tasmin, Danuhu Tasmin. In that bow, Sharam. Kim Visishtam, what is the Vishishtam? What kind of Sharam is that? Sharam Kim Visishtam. Kena Visishtam, what Visishtam? What is the specific thing about this Sharam? Ityaha, okay, that we will read. Sharam,
Sharam.
Tam,
We couldn't hear you.
Okay.
can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Kim Vishishtam,
Kim Vishishtam.
Ityaha,
Ityaha.
Upasa Nishitam,
Upasana Nishitam.
Santata Abhidhyanena,
Santata Abhidhyanena.
Tanukritam,
Tanukritam.
Skritam Ityetat.
Samskritam Yetat.
Sharam Kim Visishtam. What is the speciality or what is that Sharam? What type of Sharam is that? Ityaha, that is being said. Upasa Nishitam. Upasa is upasana. Upasaya. Upasaya. Upasa is the Kritantarupam, Gain Pratyaya added. Upasana is Lit Pratyaya. Upasa is also Upasana only. Upasa. So, Upasa, Strilinga Upasa, Tafar Upasaya. Upasaya Nishitam. Tanukritam. Nishitam is Tikshtam Tanukritam, sharpened. How? Upasa. Upasaya. Santata Abhidhyanena. Abhidhyanam. Abhidhyanam is meditation. Meditation is Upasana. Santatam. Santatam means always. So, by always or constant, by constant meditation. That is committed to meditation for certain length of time by which he gained the focus. His mind has become sharp. That is Chitta Naischalyam. Samskritam, that is called Samskritam. Purvam Prakritam, Idanim Samskritam. That which was Prakritam, now it has become Samskritam. Prakritam means it was Vikshepa Buddhi, Vikshepa Manaha, scattered all over. Paranchikani Vedadnat Swayambhu, Parang Pashanti Antaratma, in Kathopanishad we saw. With that type of mind, one cannot know Paramatma. Therefore, it has to be Samskrita. Samskrita Manasa Eva Nyatavyam. Only by the mind it can be known. Naiva Vacha Namanasa we say, Yato Vacha Nivartante we say, at the same time, Manasa Eva Nyatavyam also we say. It means not by any other mind, only by the Samskrita mind, only by the prepared mind. The mind has to be Tanukritam, it has to be sharpened, it has to be Upasanaya Nishitam, and Upasana is Santatam, Santata Abhidhyanam. Abhidhyanam is Dhyanam, Abhipurvaka Dhyadatu, Lut Pratyaya, Dhyanam, meditation, Abhidhyanam. Santata means always. Always means constant. So therefore, by devoting time for a length of time to and gain the focus of the mind. That is called Santata Vidhyanena. So that all these are covered in Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti Shatka. That Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. So that is talked about. That is what is referred to by the word Sanskritam. Ityetat. Sandayita. Dhanam kuryat. Sandhan. This we can know from this. The Sandayita has to be. It has to be with the limb because kuryat is there. Kuryat kuryatam. Kuryugu kuryaha kuryatam kuryata kuryam kuryava kuryama. So it is ling lakara. So sandhanam kuryat sandayita. Sandhanam kuryat sandayita. Sandhanam is sampurvaka dhadatu. So should be placed well. Should be placed well. Where in the shara should be placed well in the bow. Sandhanam kuryat iti. Sandhaya cha.
Sandhaya cha
Ayamya. Akrishya. Sendriyam antakaranam.
सेन्द्रियम्
antakaranam
Svavishayat vinivartya.
स्वविषयात् विनिवर्त्य
So, Sandhya, having placed the Shara onto the bow, Sandhya, Ayamya. Ayamya is equal to Akrishya. Akrishya. Akrishya is Akarshanam is attraction. Akrishya is Apurvaka Krishdatu Lepratyaya will become pulled inward. Akrishya. In fact, Akarshanam is pulling only. Akarshanam is attractive. Attractive means was the person has got Akarshanam. Means he pulls you. He pulls you. He has got that Akarshana Shakti. That is Akrishya. It's pulling only. Akarshanam, attraction means pulling only. Therefore, here it is not attraction. Here, literally pulling. Akrishya. Pulled. Ayamya. So the Shara has to be withdrawn, to be pulled. Sendriyam antakaranam. Antakaranam swa vishayat vinivartya. So Ayamya is equal to vinivartya, having withdrawn. Therefore, it is referring to Dhamma. Dhamma is withdrawing the sense organ, vinivartya, and what? Antakaranam. Antakaranam, sendriya. What is sendriya? Indriyena saha. Indriyena saha, sendriya. Sendriyam, sendriyani. So, antakaranam, along with the indriyas, jnanendriya, karmendriya, swavishayat, from its respective vishaya sense objects. So, jnanendriyani from the sense objects, that vishaya, sense vishaya, objects of senses. Karmendriya similarly from the sense objects. So, swavishayat, swasya vishaya, swavishayat, tasmat, vinivartya, antakarnam along with the indriya is withdrawn, akrishya. So, having placed the shara and the arrow, that is the first step, then ayamya, withdrawn, that is the second step. So, therefore, the study of the Shastram, the Shavanam of the Shastram has to be complemented by this Shamadama Ityadi. It is required at the beginning of the study. It is required while pursuing Shravanam also. So, it is all the way it is required. Till it's the target. This has to be there. After hitting the target, also it has to be there. It is naturally will be there in the person, Tata Prajna. So, Svavishayat Vinivartya, Ayamya. Then the next line, Lakshye.
lakshye
Evavarjitam krutva ityartah. That is the sense organs which are generally outgoing. Now they are withdrawn and they are focused on the Lakshya, that is the target. Lakshye, Saptami. Lakshye eva avarjitam. Avarjitam means avarjitam krutva. Focused. Krutva, for which the karma is avarjitam. Avarjitam means focused. Focused, having make it focused on the target. What? This is antakaranam, the mind. Lakshye eva avarjitam krutva. On the target alone, making the mind focused. Ityartaha, that is the meaning. Nahi astena iva dhanushaha.
nahi astena dhanushah
Ayamanam iha sambhavati. Shakara adds a small thing here. Astena iva dhanushaha ayamanam iha na sambhavati. Placing the shara on the bow and withdrawing it, pulling it back, that involves ayamanam. Ayamanam is effort. Prayatna is required. Ayamanam, drawing of the having withdrawn that the bow, having withdrawn the arrow. So that effort is involved. Astena. But here Jivatma, which is has to hit the Paramatma through the Shastram, through the Upanishadam, through the Upanishad. That is the Pramanam. How it will can Jivatma use hand? No. Astena iva danushaha ayamanam iha na samavati. It means here there is no physical effort involved. What involved is only a manasa, mental effort only. In the drishtanta, physical effort is required. In the dashtanta, there is no physical effort involved. Astena iva danushaha ayamanam. Ayamanam is ayamya, ayamanam, withdrawing of ayamanam. Apurvaka, same the yam dhatu only. So that the arrow has to be withdrawn and then it to be released. That is the effort. So ayamanam, the withdrawing of the arrow, that is done through the hand astena. Astena, that arrow which is placed in the danushaha, in the danuhu. Tadvat iha asmin dashtante na sambhavati. The dashtanta, it is not like that. There is no involvement of the hasta, the hand. There is no physical effort. Hand means physical movement, physical effort. There is no physical movement. There is no physical effort involved here. Here, what is involved is only a pure vichara. It is vichara, analysis. Analysis, how do you do analysis? With the indriyas, with the body? No, with the mind. So your mind is involved, not the physical effort. It's a mental effort. So astena iva danushaha yata astena iva danushaha ayamanam sabhavati tadvat atra asmin dashtante na ityartha. Astena, by the hand, danushaha ayamanam. By the hand, that is releasing the arrow by the hand. That in the drishtanta, that is in the archery example, that is an effort. Ayamanam, tadvat ayamanam has been dashtante na sambhavati. So therefore, here in the dashtanta, what it is, ayamanam is withdrawing the body mind sense complex. Withdrawing the body mind sense complex from everything and focusing on the target, hitting the target. Hitting is also, everything is manasika. It's all mental. There is no physical effort involved. As it is involved in releasing the arrow from the dhanus. Tadvat iha na sambhavati. Like that, here it is not there. So Bhashyakara is showing the limitation of the example. Why he says here, there is a reason. If you say ayamanam, withdrawing, it means karma, it means action. So therefore, action is required, karma is required. Therefore, Upanishad also says jnana karma samuchaya. So Purva Pakshi can argue. Therefore, Bhashyakara adds a small note. Na sambhavati astena iva danushaha ayamanam. No karma, no physical action is required. Here, vichara is what is required is only a vichara. So vichara is also to remove the ajnana. Vichara, but the manas vichara is done through the mind. It's an intellectual exercise done through the mind, vichara. So that, because Shastra Patanam and what has been heard and contemplating on that, all this, contemplating on the doing Mananam and Nididhyasanam, all this involve effort on the part of the mind to ultimately to remove the ajnana. These ajnanam, nivritti, eva jnanam, that doesn't produce something new, like karma, which is not there. Karma produces something which is not there with you, produces something new which is not with you. So, but this doesn't produce something new. It is only all the karma, all the manasa vyapara, vichara, all these things are required only to remove the cover, to remove the veil. So therefore, यथा प्रयत्नः यथा प्रयत्नानाम् आवश्यकं भवति तद्वत् अस्मिन् दृष्टान्ते भवति तद्वत् दाष्टान्ते न भवति इत्यर्थः. That is why the Bhashyakara adds this small note, and it's an important note. कर्मणा न इत्यर्थः. न कर्मणा न प्रजया धनेन त्यागेनैके अमृतत्वमानशुः. Always that is, you have to remember, na karmana. So therefore no karma is involved here. That is the idea. In jnanam there is no karma. But preparation for jnanam, that involves karma. But in jnanam, therefore in moksha, no karma is required. Because siddha vishayatvat. So that is important. Therefore whenever Bhashyakara gets a small gap, he will add a note like this. So this note he had added. You may think why this is required. This don't we know? We know, but Bhashyakara wants to mention this so that it makes it very clear karma is never involved in for moksha, in getting moksha. There is no jnana karma samuchaya. Because those time there were people who were arguing jnana karma samuchaya. So to dismiss them, always that is there at the back of the Bhashyakara's mind. Therefore only he adds a small note. The next line. Tadbhavagatena
तद्भावगतेन
tasmin brahmani akshare lakshye
तस्मिन् ब्रह्मणि अक्षरे लक्ष्ये
bhavana bhavaha
भावना
भावना
भावः
भावः
तद्गतेन चेतसा
तद्गतेन
गतेन
चेतसा
चेतसा
लक्ष्यं
लक्ष्यम्
देव
तदेव
प्रोक्तलक्षणम्
यथोक्तलक्षणम्
लक्षणम्
अक्षरं सौम्य विद्धि
अक्षरं
अक्षरं
सौम्य
सौम्य
विद्धि
विद्धि
तद्भावगतेन तद्भावगतं तत् referring to, as I told, Brahma. Tasmin Brahmani, Bhashyakara says tadbhavagatam. Bhashyakara explains himself, tat tasmin Brahmani, that tasmin is equal to Brahmani, which is equal to Akshara. Therefore Akshare Lakshye Bhavana Bhavaha. So that Brahma, which is a Lakshya, Bhavana means contemplation, meditation, thinking. Vichara ityartaha. Here, when we say meditation in Vedanta, it is not literally meditation, it is vichara. Meditation also, Nityasanam also what? It's vichara only. Vichara is only to make this jnanam steady, removing all and then vichara, remaining in that. That is possible through vichara. Therefore, bhavana is thinking, meditation, vichara. Tad brahmani, brahma vichara. The mind is focused in the vichara of the Brahma. And that is a lakshya, that is a target. Lakshya. Tasmin brahmani lakshya. Bhavana is equal to bhavaha. So therefore, tad bhavaha. Tad bhavaha. Tasmin bhavaha is tad bhavaha. Tad bhava gatam. Tad bhava gatena. Tad gatena. Kena chetasa, by the mind. By the mind which is absorbed, which is committed in the bhava, the thought of Brahma, in the vichara of Brahma, tena chetasa lakshyam. What is lakshyam? Tadeva. Tadeva ita yatoktam. Yata uktam. Yata uktam. Yatokta lakshanam. Yata uktam lakshanam. Yatokta lakshanam. Yata uktam lakshanam. Yatoktam is one word. It's one yata uktam anatikramya. That is abhibhava samasa. Yatokta. Lakshanam is another. And again it's one more samasa. Yatokta lakshanam is Bhuvrihi samasa, qualifying akshara. Yata uktam lakshanam yasya aksharasya tam yatokta lakshanam aksharam tadeva lakshyam. That is a lakshya. He somya viddhi. May you know. May you hit the target lakshyam, which is aksharam, and the aksharam is whose lakshana has been told. Yata uktam, as told. Yata uktam, where in the previous sections, that lakshanam of Brahma has been talked about. Adrishyam, etadadrishe, etadadresham agragya magotram iti, and in the previous section also, Lakshanam of Brahma talked about. So, Yatha Uktam Lakshanam Yasya Tat Aksharam, and that Aksharam is the Lakshyam, Tadeva Lakshyam, Aksharam, Vidhi, may you know, may you hit the target, He Somya, Iti. So, Aksharam is the target. And what is that Aksharam? Bhashakara doesn't explain again. Why should we explain? Already dealt with elaborately in the previous Mundaka as well as in this Mundaka in the previous section. The previous section beginning with the description of the Aksharam Brahma, which was referred to by the word Purusha iti. We saw that elaborately. Therefore, Bhashyakara just simply adds Yatokta Lakshanam. Yata Uktam Yatoktam. That is Avibhava Samasa. Yatokta Lakshanam is Bhugubrigi Samasa. Yata Uktam Lakshanam Yasya Aksharasya Tam Artat. Yatokta Lakshanam. Here it is Aksharam Vidhi. Therefore, Aksharam is Dvitiya Vibhakti. That Aksharam, which is a Lakshyam, these are in Dvitiya Vibhakti in the mantra. Because Vidhi, Tvam Vidhi, may you hit what? Aksharam, which is a Lakshyam. So Aksharam is Dvitiya Vibhakti. Therefore, Yatoktam Lakshanam Yasya Tam Aksharam. That Aksharam is the Lakshya. So therefore, Tadbhava Gatena Chetasa He Somya Tadeva Aksharam Lakshyam Vidhi Ityartaha. That is the meaning of this mantra. The mantra will be complete only with the next mantra, the fourth mantra, that the Upanishad itself gives the connection between the Drishtanta and the Dashtanta. That we will see in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवाद
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद शरणजी.
धन्यवादः
गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.